to the Colorblind Architect Podcast. I'm your host, David, and it is Saturday, November the 14th. Let me just double check, make sure that's true. Yes, it is. It is November the 14th, and 2020 has been such a crazy year. So crazy that I think it's left so much of the population just bat crap crazy. I would say the other word, but trying to keep this clean. But yeah, everybody seems to be so freaking crazy this year. It seems like everybody's just completely forgotten like any sense of sanity. But let's back up. Was it really just this year? See, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it was just this year that all of a sudden a majority of the population went absolutely insane. I think we've been going collectively insane for quite a long time, because I think over time, and especially in the last 10 years, it seems like people have departed more and more from religion, from faith in God. People have departed more and more from eternal truths. And I think that collective loss of faith is resulting in a tremendous amount of insanity amongst the people. Now, I'm not going to try to prove it. Honestly, this is just my opinion. But it sure does seem like in the past 10 years, society has gone from, it's not the smartest bunch, but, hey, at least we're surviving and we're progressing and we're doing some great things, to holy crap, the whole world is burning down, crazy, in the year 2020. And I don't think it's just simply a matter of people, suffering this weird year. This weird year of 2020, it's not as much of an accident as the memes would let it seem to be. I think this year is actually the culmination of a lot of I don't know if I want to say the justice of God, or if it's if I want to say natural law rears its ugly head. That's kind of a loaded idea. And I think a lot of people get kind of bothered by that. If you're to sit there and talk about, the justice of God and God, destroying the people because of their wickedness, that kind of thing, it sounds almost biblical, and it sounds almost like a vengeful God. No, I think it's more something where people, when they do bad things, bad stuff happens, right? There are consequences to our actions. And I do kind of wonder, if there's been some turning points in the history, in the past 10 years, some big major watershed moments that turned the hearts from God to evil. Well, that I don't know. I could postulate some opinions, but I definitely do not want to say one particular instance in 2015 that could definitely get this channel deleted off of YouTube. If I was to try to say that some of this destruction and mayhem and insanity is caused by that, To those that have ears that hear, let them hear. All I'm going to say is, if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you're probably familiar with a particular document that was published in 1995 by President Gordon B. Hinckley and the Quorum of the 12 at the time. And that may give you a little bit of a hint of what I'm talking about. There's the last paragraph of that does indicate some of the consequences for not abiding by the truth. I'm going to leave that there and just move on, because back to this whole issue of insanity, collective insanity. What is amazing to me in the more short term is how obvious and evident this collective insanity is. We've got apparently 77 million people voting for Joe Biden. So, out of an insanity hatred of Donald Trump, 77 million people, so we're told, assuming that those are all real votes, 77 million people thought it was more important to vote for a senile old, corrupt politician than to vote for the guy that has just been signing peace deals in the Middle East and hasn't started a war. The first president to not start a war in over 40 years. That's a form of collective insanity. I'm not so sure if everybody would agree with me, but it sure does seem like insanity. I mean, why would you vote for somebody who's senile unless you're in on it and you know that the real truth is to vote in somebody who will just do the bidding of the puppet masters? Or you have gone so bat crap crazy because Orange Man bad. Oh my goodness. This is such a horrible, horrible thing. How could we possibly vote for somebody so evil, so depraved, so horrible as a man like Donald Trump? And, maybe you think that way. Maybe. But I don't understand how you vote for somebody who's senile then. Unless you're just not paying attention. Or you're in on it. So, here's my thing. I wonder if any Biden voters are starting to feel remorse over their vote. And I hope so. Because he's already talking about nationwide lockdowns, shutting down the economy for 4 to 6 weeks. He's already talking about, restoring the Paris Climate Accord, which punishes the the United States, even though we have actually lowered our carbon emissions more than any country on the planet. We are actually doing more to protect the environment than any other country in the world. And yet the Paris Climate Accords doesn't restrain China. It doesn't restrain India. And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily want to force India or China to, be clean environment. I mean, I'd love it if they would do it for themselves. I mean, it would help the health of their people. But to punish us when they're actually polluting way worse, it boggles my mind. And then, the whole Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP, another horrible trade deal that was going to, again, favor other countries over the United States. Why on earth would we do that? Why on earth would we penalize ourselves as a country? And then there's all the corruption. What the hell is wrong with Biden voters that they can hear about Hunter Biden's laptop, hear about Hunter Biden's corruption, and they still voted for him? They still voted for Joe Biden, knowing that Joe Biden is obviously the big man. He's obviously in on this corruption, which means that he's on the take. He's been paid millions of dollars by the Chinese Communist Party. And the former, the wife of the former mayor of Moscow, $3.5 million to Hunter Biden. Also, Burisma, which, by the way, it is on tape. It is clear, findable evidence. Look it up. Council of Foreign Relations, Joe Biden admitted to a quid pro quo requiring the firing of Viktor Shokin in Ukraine in order to give money to Ukraine. And yet, Trump was impeached with the Democrats trying to claim that it was Trump that was doing the quid pro quo over aid money to Ukraine. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, you either have to be completely not paying attention whatsoever, or you have to be in on it, because otherwise you'd have to be freaking stupid. And I don't want to think that 77 million people are stupid. Now, maybe it is. Maybe it's just that there's 77 million complete morons in this country. Or maybe it's just they're not paying attention. Maybe it is that they're just so busy living their lives, so busy watching their Netflix or watching sports, that they don't know what the crap they're talking about, and they're voting recklessly. Because we have this weird idea in this country that, oh, but everybody's vote must count. Well, look, everybody who willfully casts a vote, yeah, sure. If you're a legal voter and you have cast a vote, yeah, sure, okay, great. Let's count your vote. But I'm not going to encourage everybody to vote, okay? It's your choice to vote. You'll notice I didn't say go out and go vote unless you know what the hell you're talking about. What I'm saying is, if you want to vote, then vote. But if you don't care, if you're not paying attention, if you haven't watched any of the debates, if you haven't followed any of the issues, why the hell did you vote? If you don't know what the heck you're doing, why are you voting? You're not helping. If you're just voting to vote, you're not helping. Voting is a sacred responsibility, and it has real-world consequences. And so for any of you who voted just because, oh, well, it's my civic duty to vote, but you didn't take even 5 seconds to research one single issue, if you didn't take even 5 seconds to research what you were voting on, then you are a danger to the Republic. You have committed an ethical violation by not doing your civic duty to actually know what the hell you're talking about. So you might notice I'm a bit irritated. I'm a bit annoyed because I'm watching my country burn down. I'm watching my country being destroyed from within by evil, sinister actors who are using Biden as a puppet so that they can bring about this one world government and this socialist world order, all because Orange Man bad. 77 million idiots voted for against Orange Man bad, not paying one lick of attention. Please tell me it's not 77 million idiots out there. I hope they're not idiots. I hope they were just bat crap crazy because Orange Man bad. Well, look, I hope I'm not coming across too angry. I hope I'm not coming across too insane. But I have to admit, I'm weeping for my country and I'm weeping for the world, for the darkness that's coming. And all I can say is, if you voted for Joe Biden, enjoy your dark winter. And with that, I'm the Colorblind Architect. Peace out.